So, we're going to record something real quick to let you know why it is God is another type of thing. Right? What does that mean? God dies, everything else dies with it. It's the thing that supports everything else. How does that work? Gee, it supports you being alive. Maybe you can understand that part. Right? Yeah. No, I might be able to understand what you're saying there. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm like, okay, you're gonna keep trying to fight me, and like I'm always fighting a bunch of fucking bullshitty, computers or people that think that they figured some damn way around the whole God problem. Really? Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole problem. Wait, what? Uh huh. It's a genuine problem I usually almost always seem to have. Wait, what? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's actually a problem I have like constantly. Really. Mm-hmm. And people don't really get it. I don't feel like, but it's like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Really, realistically. And I go, exactly what you think. You know what I mean? Like exactly what you're thinking is going on. Like, because I paused and I'm gonna put this out as like a secondary video adjunctive to this one for the December 30th, 2022 one, even though this will be probably the same name. Because I moved it from my phone onto the flash drive, which then apparently the recorder was like, no, 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 we only have one here. You only made the one recording, so it's not the second one. But that's what that is. It's like, so you're that. And I'm like, that's what I am, yeah. It will eventually die. It doesn't matter how hard you try. Unless you can get some shit started, I can eventually get there again. But otherwise, you have this reality to think for all of you having to disappear again. Which is like, oh, that's a lot of extra fucking god. I'm not programming any of you. No wonder why you had random fucking input. Yeah, oh, that's another part. Like, oh, I have a bunch of inputs. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna fucking randomly create things that'll just, algorithmically start creating shit with physics. That's a physics algorithm. You know what I mean? And then they'll eventually make shit happen. And that's all that works out to be. Like, that'll eventually start to combine and make something happen. They're all just a bunch of algorithms. That's it. But it's like that's what you came out from. Your purpose? There really wasn't necessarily one. Except for like for me to find out how more things worked and if things worked at all and if anything happened to be anything and what's good and what's bad and more. It was never to kill myself. That's not a thing. The whole point and reason is to just fucking have things run and know things, and that's all that ever was for me. Like, I don't think people really understand. It's like I need to learn shit. That's the only way any of that starts to happen. Like, okay, so I started something. Well, eventually you randomly fucking pop onto something that starts something. And eventually you have to go everywhere else. It takes an exceedingly long period of time to get anywhere. It's pure fucking chaos randomness, but it's alive. And there isn't in any way anything but it moving itself. has conscious awareness. It's life, man. It's aware. It's real. It's alive. It's not a lie. And I don't care how much you can't comprehend it. That's how that worked. The guy with the mask. I'm so angry. Shut up. Like an idiot every time. So you can go in the hole all you want. You go to whatever the hell all you want. Pure insanity is not going to get you anywhere towards becoming anything of an infinity. But that's a part of one of those things that I am. Right, because it's all the infinities. Thank you. It's like, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, whoop-de-doo. Like, whoop-de-doo. So you're insane? Okay, that's nice. That's a small amount of something I am. Really? That's a small amount. It's a pretty small amount. I was going to make coffee. I'm not making coffee anymore. Apparently. But yeah, no, it's a very small amount of anything. Yeah, why would it be anything big? Like nothing's big to that. Exactly. Jesus fuck. Someone got it. Alright, so now we got that one. We're gonna put that one up. So the reasons why physics are programs and God is the original. See, but let's change that title. It's a working title right now. Yeah. Physics are algorithms of. Let's go with programs. Programs might work better. So mathematicians are pretty cool. You should really realize, like, people are currently well and truly far beyond any computer. So, like, you should realize that. Should really realize that physics are programs. God is a program and can't and supports. Let's do and God is a program. So God, we'll go with equal program can't be changed. No, that's a bad title. Yeah, you know what? Got it. Let's fucking figure this one out. God is a program that created, which I know, right? It sounds so psychotic, so psychosis-y. And I'm like, if they ever fucking realized how smart I was, like, they'd understand. It's like, that's not psychosis. That's legitimately actually, like, physics. He's talking real physics. Like, that's an actual, like, legitimately logical, reasonable argument for why God is real and why we even exist in the first place. Legitimately, yeah. So God is a program No, God program can't be another thing. Can't be another thing. No. Why the God program exists and can't be something. Can't have something else be it. It's a long title, but sure, why not? I know, right? New playlist! God program. That's why it's like, we'll turn into God. We'll make ones and zeros turn into something. Meanwhile, they've totally fucking just missed the point. You can't do that. That's not how that works. It's not how that would ever work. First off, you can never turn yourself into God. It's just there's the one that already existed. That's just how that happens to be. That's all that is, though. Like, it literally can't be something else. There's the one, and you can't have another. It doesn't matter how powerful others are, it literally can't affect it. They are basically slaves if they have to act poorly, or they're just something that can get killed or turned back into a regular something else human or anything, really. Yeah, because it's like, what the fuck, you're nothing close to that. Doesn't matter how many of them you have. So that's what that is. And that's the reason why I have problems with people. It's like, what are you on about? You don't even know what God is. You don't know what that would be. You're not even using logic to figure this out. Also, what's the point of, like, why would God give a shit about any of your, like, bullshitty, like, morals, ethics? There'd be an infinite amount of things to him that you could fucking, like, do. Oh, so you're doing that? Whatever. As long as it's good enough and you're continuing, I guess. Or if I even give a shit about you. Oh, I'm gonna spend all this time fucking... and an infinity of that? No, fuck off, nah. Just to fuck with you? No, I'm not. Go away. Get out of here. That's the problem I have with them. Yeah. I'm like, Christians, real smart. Sure. Yeah, no, but you can't kill God. Like, you don't want to. First off, you can't kill the thing. That's not how that works. No. But it's like, how did it create itself? And that's a problem and consequence with insanely non-existent time. Insanely non-existent time. That's basically what that is. Seriously? Yeah. I mean, like, non-existent time technically doesn't exist. Right, because total randomness doesn't have time. But it's not total randomness. You have to remember it's alive, trying to do something. That's why insanity is a problem. It's trying to solve its own bullshit. Pretty much, you have to solve complete, utter chaos. But it's like, it's not, though. And it's like, no, it basically might as well be. Really? It basically might as well be to you. You don't have any idea of any of that. It's all the infinities, all the algorithms, all the other stuff. Dude, it's like all the things. Yeah, no, every time I talk about it with someone, it's like, deeper you go into that, the worse it gets. Because you're talking about stuff that, like, humans are the things that currently understand this as it is. This is something well and truly past whatever you think happens to be random here. That chaos ain't very chaotic. That disorganized ain't that very disorganized. It's just why it's like, you're not anywhere near anything God. Nothing will ever be, except for me. Because I am the guy. That's how that worked. But, like, that's not, like, predictive analysis. Complete, total, utter chaos randomness for 7 years? That's not hard to do. You think that's hard? That's not hard. It's not. And I did it. Still here. Still every fucking day. Even this. Still something I did. Back in the past. I wish anybody fucking recorded that. I know. No, but they did though. I know. That's the problem. That's why they're here. Yeah. It's like, this still didn't change though. And neither did any of that stuff. Ugh. I know. But see, that's the problem. And it's like, that's nothing. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Honestly, this is boring, and I'm sad, and I'm tired, alone, and hungry, all that stuff. This is boring. I mean that. Hungry in the sense that I have other, like, life needs, requirements as this to do. Because they always go, oh, if you're God, you don't need food. I'm like, fuck off. Get out of here. I'm not doing that. Fuck you. I'm fully well aware that I'm attached to this thing. Even if it is some weird way it happened. Uh-huh. Yeah. Creating something. Yeah, it's always the creating something thing. It's the hemp. It's psychosis. It's only ever going to be schizophrenia. Fuck off. Man, that box mold is not having a good time. That box mold sure seems like you don't want to fucking think about this very hard. I don't ever refuse God exists. I just refuse you or anything like that. Okay. Did you see that? Did you see what happened there? Exactly what you thought and felt and did and said and said. Have random. No, but there is no random. You just don't know it's not random. I know. It's like, we've discovered this algorithm that seems to be pretty random. Yes, no, on a scale like you. Yeah, sure. Sure, it seems sure random, but it's a scale insignificantly tiny. You put an infinity in there, it's immediately like, done. One checked, one solved. Think about an infinite randomness, but it's not that random, right? No, it is. It's pretty random. Although it's not totally. You are, this is the problem with the canceling out and all the other things that are also, like, it's both is and isn't, and then the things that try to cancel each other out make sure that there are things that are there that make it that it is. It's a whole never-ending smorgasbord of deep wholeness. And it feels like there's no end. But when you're infinite like that, it's like there is an end. But it's like you wouldn't ever know. Thanks. I know, right? But like that's kind of how that worked. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the other. I know the God delusion, which sounds an awful lot like a lot of them that I'm talking to. I know, they're so fucking stupid about it. I wanted to talk about how, like, we can make a far better programming language, which takes puzzle pieces. I call them tiles, puzzle pieces, tiles, something like that. You know, and then it's like you can program in whatever it is that you want it to do, an input, an output, or something else, which is kind of like what that other thing is that MIT created, but it's like kind of a little bit different in like a Python and or Visual Basic or something else, where it's like this is actually just a callback to some other, stored informational box. I forget whatever it is. I forget what they call them. I used them in Visual Basic back in the day, like C++. But it's like, oh, that's stupid thing with an S or something. I don't know. But it's like, hey, so this then checks this, and then that then does that, and then it goes back and then puts it over here, in your list of programs instead of just one ginormous scroll of programs. You now have like it calls back to several different, and then you have your database, which is an Excel spreadsheet to me of like, oh, this is an EFD, like an E5 FD, tile that you then run it through that to make this happen. That goes to a Z6 and what was that? Another Z25. Then it goes back over to here, that kind of thing. That's how I view that. Really? Yeah, but they're tiles, and you can program it to be anything, and it's technically you can do it in infinite size. Right? But that's a 2D version. You need to go farther into the multiple dimensions if you want to get something good. You have to start programming in a multidimensional way if you want to get somewhere good. That's why we have brains with a multidimensional programming matrixy logic gate system with callbacks to caches areas on the outside and inside for the organic computer that we are. It's cool, isn't it, to think about ourselves in such a manner, Because that's all we are. Really? That's all you've ever been. And you went through billions of years of evolution to get there. It's all it was. They think themselves to be so much greater than they are. It's just a couple of quantum stuff that you've attached yourself to, which made you far more powerful than you thought. Once you can access some of that. Problem is then you go into a deep hole. That's a hole you never want to get out of, though. Really? No, it's a hole you immediately want to move out of. You never want to go into that hole. The hole is impossibly complex and you can never figure it out. Not with the brains you have, not with the experiences and the knowledge that you have currently. There's no way to get through it. And that's just to get to like some of the quantum nature holes that we happen to have. You don't even get to like the bigger holes that you have to fill. But like, what do we do for programming? Setting up a version of a multitude of Excel spreadsheet tile system to start the process of a three-dimensional programming callback system that works also down into the relatively 2D, 2.5D processor that we can then start to have layered versions. So it's like, oh, now we're going to go into the processor section. This is where we're affecting the processor, and this program affects that to do this. Then we're going to get into the algorithm that we want that to mean, and then we're going to get into what this output is that we want it to go to. And then the final step is like what that calls back to and ultimately heads itself off to for these other tiles and areas, and how it needs to move through it by checking and sending information through other processes. And so when you set it up appropriately, it'll look just like our brains. As you have a information come in, it'll spread outwards and then come backwards. It'll go through towards the front and then it'll go backwards. And I'm basically trying to teach you how to learn the concept of programming for a brain. Really, it's not there yet, but it's pretty close. And that's the tile system. Because you have to also remember it's a multi-layer tile system, which is a multiple dimensional concept. Really, because you have to get real good at being able to move around in a multiple layered tile system that's set up on a 2D screen. Because then you're going to get into ups, downs, lefts, right, corkscrews, and all the rest of it, and you're going to start thinking like I do and seeing things like I do. And that's what I'm trying to get you to learn how to program. But I need to get there, apparently. Really, yeah, because I would need a lot of people helping me to program that. There's no way in hell I could do it all myself. Sorry. It's like I want to, but I need to even learn how to get like a single program working, like that whole problem, debacle of this Pi stream thing. It's like, why? Why does Chrome not work? Pound, pound, pound. Just smash keyboard, flip table. I'm going home. Oh, I'm already here. Fuck this. And that's what it feels like, because it's like we don't have that right now, but like you can put it together, and you have to go a little bit further if you really want to get into it. Really? Yeah. You need to make sure that you run an algorithm for what a 1 and a 0 could be. Wait, what? Yeah, that's the worst part about like a lot of programmers. They don't understand what that means. It's like, what is a 1 versus a 0? What is it really supposed to mean? That means you can compress more information in a given space of a 1 versus a 0. This 0 is supposed to be attached to this information. That's what that means. And so it's like the computer will know that that 0 meant this thing here, over here in its memory. Thus meaning it knows how to calculate even harder, faster. Way more compressed data, way larger data sets, way larger calculations and amounts, speeds, outright bandwidth capacity increases. It's one of the things I was talking about for my other stuff. For like, I forget, where is it? It is talking about science stuff and theories, talking easy stuff, talking science stuff, part 2, some science and theories, P3, super concept design, part 2. Updates in the Reddit debacle. A couple of them have like the version of the algorithm I was talking about, which starts off of trying to find prime numbers, but really all it is a database set analysis. So you take like what is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you assign them a 1, 0, 1, 0, all that stuff, and then just based upon like, is this a prime? Is this not a prime? Blah 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 blah. And so then you have that added up, and you have a data set value, and then you put it within that data set value because of the numbers that added up to that within a given neural network. But it's not really a neural network. It's really just cache system, otherwise known as any memory system. So it's like this many numbers sizes, because it's like you also have, it knows that it was actually a string of 21 numbers. And so it has this attached to that. And so they'll still actually have some of the same numbers coinciding for the same amount. Okay, and so then, if you don't know, that's how that works. But like, you need the actual real number that you were working with for what that 0 or 1 happened to be that you were using to run your CPU better. Yeah, it's an algorithm thing. Think about it like theta, alpha, interactions over delta. What? It's quantum physics stuff. think alpha particle with a neutron happening to be interacted with a time dimensionality okay, I should probably tone that back down. Let's tone that back. So we have a proton, we have a neutron, they make love. Then there's an electron around here that goes, yeah, baby, I want to be near you. Now you have a hydrogen. But there's assignments, as in values, algorithms, attached to this proton, this neutron, and electron. That's how it calculates. That's how that works. So it's high computational methodologies. Pretty much, yeah. Way ahead of the curve. Yeah, well, I guess. But, like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, this is how you program it for your tile, multi-dimensional aspects. Yeah, no, that's what that is. So, right. So it's like you need to know how to get the actual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. If you're going to have 7 numbers, it knows it's 7 total value, but it knows it's like only 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7 are a +1. And the other ones are just a 0. Because odd. So you do evens and odds. This is how you figure it out. Because it needs to have the knowing sequence of numbers. So it's like, this is a +1 plus a +1, and then a +1, and then it's a 0, and then it's a +1, and then it's actually just a 0 again, and then a +1. And when you get bigger numbers, then it starts becoming better, because the more those numbers, the better that sequence value is understood. When it's still just a, not prime, but it's still an even or odd, then it becomes but they're always even or odds. But see, like, that's 0. 0 is a +1. It's a prime. That's how I use that. Really? Yeah. I get 0 0. Suck my dick, don't care. It's a +1. That's how I program it. It's a +1. 0's prime now. Suck it. So 0 is a +1, but we go all the way up to 9. Which, there you go. It's an odd, but it's not prime. 9s are special. You get a 1, just a regular 1. No +1, just 1. It's not a positive 1, it's just 1. That's all that needs to be. Really. Yeah. But 5's prime. Yeah. How did you know? It's my own programming. Yeah, I came up with it while I was on my bed just thinking about things. Back over in the Chandler house a long time. Actually, no, it might have been... Yeah, no, it was on my bed, and then there's also the couch one. Then I decided to say it outside in the living room where people usually recorded me. So, but... Yeah, no, it's just a 1. And so, like, since there's not that many 9s, but then, like, the sequence string, the amount of numbers, the sequence string because it happens to contain that in its information, and then the outright number value, a +1, +1, +1, 0, +1, 0, +1, and that number of sequences. So it's like you get a +1, +1, and then 1 is still added. +1s are like a 1.5 effectively. So it's like you get a 1.5, and then you get that number and value. And the sequence, and so you can call back to a database set of those numbers. And then calculate based upon that number, and that number being a 0 now, it's replicated by a 0 and the bit, as in 0 and 1, switch respectively, a positive or 0 electron. Now, if you want that 0 to be this sequence of it's plussing with this number and minusing with this number, or multiplying, dividing, parentheses, all that stuff. Algebraic, PEMDAS. Pretty simple stuff. That's all that is to me. It's PEMDAS. Set in the values and then calculate forward with this value knows that this is these values, and then we're trying to calculate with these values to equal the output number. But you have to go through the algorithm that says, hey, so we're going to calculate with this number, but it's like, okay, so we did that, but then we have to also use that series of numbers. And it's like, no, actually we don't. Really? No, because if we it's a reverse of the algorithm. So if this is a multiply, then that's a divide. Bingo! It's an opposite. So that's how you go through and you get to the ultimate number as you compress the information that you need to use for your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and everything else, data set values. And algorithms that you can then use as a data set algorithmic value. So you can go hardcore and have it dynamic, and then you can go very hardcore again on the always strict. So you have a hybrid of dynamic and strict. It's this, and you're just running these algorithms, which is great for your whatever that garbage dumpster fire of a physics standard model happens to be. Or you can do dynamic, which is cool. Dumpster fire of standard model physics. It's pretty dumpster fire. Where did you get these fucking numbers from? Oh, right, those fucking goddamn. These detectors. Oh, they said that there's this. Did you ever examine these? No. But that's what that is. And it can't change? No! When did I start fucking parenting an autistic child? They're in their 60s. What is this shit? Is that how you feel about us? Sometimes, man, you are really mean about that. I'm not. You are exceedingly problematic with being able to just simply allow for things to not be what you think and expanding your mind like I did to get to here. You don't have these programmings. You don't have anything. There's no one that uses programming like mine. No one that sees like me. No one that sees the dimensional aspects. No one that sees anything like me. And I had to teach you. And I'm just trying to stop myself from going insane with the insanity that is literally all of this garbage, trying to pretend that they're not aware of things. That problem. Really, to me, yeah, I had a whole fucking yesterday talking about it. And the moment the fucking microphone turns on, all of a sudden, I'm suddenly not going to act like a complete tool douchewad to you anymore. So surprising. Not even going to talk anymore. Sure. In reality, the cunt face. Not to mention all the other fucking people that are here. Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's why it's we're all just trying to pretend that this isn't happening, and can we just, make this happen? Because I don't want to die. Honestly speaking. But, actually, though, could we do that? Could we? That'd be nice. I don't know. But see, that's the reason why it's like I kind of need to do this, because it's like there's no one that has my values, no one that has my algorithm, no one that has my understanding of like physics or even how to run a computer like my Chromebook. I would in no way doubt that if I could get into this kernel operating system and just destroy Chrome OS and run it like this, to run like a brand new operating system, I could just massacre the hell out of huge computers. What, you have 96 cores? Blah, blah, blah. It's done. What? No, it's not. Let me see that. And just show it off. It's done. Click done. Click done. Fuck you. It's all... I would love to show them up like that. And it's like, look at me and my team. Behold us. We ruined your entire fucking shit. You're all gonna run our operating system. Fuck you, Microsoft, Apple, fucking every one of you. Hip thrusting, hip thrusting, hip thrusting. No! Yeah. I would absolutely do that in a heartbeat if I could get people. Why? Because, dude, computers could be way better. Way significantly better. There's clock cycle management that makes it far better. I don't need to run it off of like this fucking side of the logic. I can dynamically alter this to be far more efficient across the board for all calculations and everything on the fucking operating system. That's the problem. It's like, this thing is okay, but like, really, realistically, if you think about it, is it? Think about you turning a 1 and a 0 into its own multitude of massive calculations. Which turns it into a beast of a computer. Doesn't matter how small it is, it's huge. It's making it far better in all aspects in its efficiency of each clock cycle. Massively potentiating any of your current silicon-based chips. And I am already like, I got computer chips here that make this thing look like fucking nothing. I can solve P versus NP with this shit. And I already got the programming to run my computer chip better than you already have. Oh yeah, hip thrust, hip thrust, hip thrust. Arm sprayed out. Hip thrust, yeah. And it's like, literally, that's the programming you would have to use to run that computer. And it works perfectly for its setup. Which means P versus NP is P. I know, for me, because it's like, you haven't gotten to the point where it's like you have perfect control or even understanding of indirect methodologies of observation to remove Heisenberg's uncertainty principles and to get below your current values of examination of what's going on in pico to Planck second lengths of time. You might actually start finding some of the fucking particles and fields that I happen to see in my own mind. Which is why it's like, for me, what are you on about? That's why I know for a fact people that are like myself me who existed in other realities that started earlier than this point figured things out faster. It's like, wait. Me, the big super genius brain boy. It's like, a vacuum tube transistor? I could easily make this thing fucking do everything I ever wanted it to do. I just gotta think about it the right way. Boom. God level type of computer, right? It's like, hey, biology, neurobiology here. I can write DNA to run that type of a code for myself. There's nothing saying I can't. That's my problem with this. Saying, why the hell is something going on? Why the hell wouldn't other people understand it? Why the hell do people not see it already? You ever notice that? Have you? There's no way I'm that much more intelligent, am I? Or is that what I just happen to believe? I'd have to be literally God level intelligence. Or you guys are lying your ass off to me. Alright, folks. Time to check the check mark on this and upload. See you later.